What if you built a motorcycle so wild, so explosive, it scared its own engineers? In 1969, Kawasaki dropped a bombshell onto American streets. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't refined, but the Kawasaki H1 Mach III was a two-stroke triple that hit like a hammer, and it came with a secret weapon inside, an engine so aggressive it earned the nickname the Widowmaker. The 500cc two-stroke triple, known later under the KH500 name, didn't just shake up the streets. It reshaped how the world saw Japanese motorcycles. But where did this wild machine come from? And how did its engine earn a reputation for being both brilliant and deadly? To understand the madness behind the H1, we have to go back to the late 1960s. America was falling in love with power. Muscle cars ruled the highways, and riders weren't looking for commuter bikes anymore. They wanted speed. Quarter-mile times, horsepower bragging rights, and sheer thrill were what sold. Honda had the CB450. Suzuki launched the T500. Yamaha was working on the XS650. But Kawasaki, they wanted to make something that would smoke them all. So, in 1967, Kawasaki secretly launched Project N100. The mission: build a motorcycle engine under 500cc that could deliver 60 horsepower and run the quarter mile in under 13 seconds. That was insane for the time. It was like aiming to beat drag racers with a street bike. It had a 498 cubic centimeter displacement, a bore and stroke of 60 by 58.8 millimeters, and a 6.8 to 1 compression ratio. And yes, it hit the target. 60 horsepower at around 7,500 RPM. At the time, that gave it the highest power-to-weight ratio of any production bike in the world, which meant, you guessed it, a lot of smoke. Riders got used to leaving behind clouds like an old World War II fighter plane. Another test by Dutch drag racer Henk Vink showed a 13.48-second pass. And in a special factory test at Lyons Drag Strip in California with rider Tony Nikosha, the Mach III ran a quarter mile in 12.96 seconds, making it the first production motorcycle to break 13 seconds from a standing start. In 1969, that was absolutely game-changing. But it wasn't just the speed, it was how the engine delivered it. You see, this wasn't a smooth, gradual buildup. The H1's engine hit like a sledgehammer. Below 5,000 RPM, it felt sleepy. Then, suddenly, the power kicked in hard, explosively. The front wheel popped up, the rear tire slipped, and if you weren't ready, you were in trouble. This wild power band earned it a reputation as dangerous for new riders. Some said it had a light switch throttle. Others called it the triple with the ripple. One thing was clear, it was not a beginner's bike. Handling? That was another story. The engine sat far back in the frame. The center of gravity was high. The frame flexed. Suspension damping was hit or miss. And those stock drum brakes? Let's just say they were overwhelmed. The front two-leading shoe design worked okay in tests, but in the real world, especially at speed, braking was sketchy. The combo of sketchy handling, explosive power, and weak brakes made the H1 something of a legend and a menace. Some said it was a death machine. Others loved it precisely because it felt unhinged. Now, let's get back to the original engine, the secret weapon inside the H1 500. While it didn't have an official marketing name like Milwaukee 8 or Desma Quattro, this engine became famous among enthusiasts. Whether you called it the H1 500 Triple, the KH 500, or just the 500, this engine was raw and revolutionary. It proved that Kawasaki could outgun Honda, Suzuki, and Yamaha in the one category that mattered to young riders in 1969: acceleration. By the mid-1970s, the world had changed, and the Kawasaki H1 engine had to change with it. The thrill was still there. That same 498 cubic centimeter two-stroke triple still barked, still smoked, still yanked your arms straight. But emissions were tightening, safety standards were rising, and public pressure was mounting. It started to look like an outlaw in a world full of clean-cut citizens. Then came the final blow: regulations. The US Environmental Protection Agency and similar agencies in Europe weren't joking anymore. Two strokes burned oil and fuel together. That meant smoke, that meant unburned hydrocarbons, and that meant trouble. Suddenly, manufacturers were facing real penalties. If Kawasaki wanted to keep selling bikes in the biggest markets, the two-stroke triple had to go. And so, in 1976, production stopped. Quietly. No farewell party. No collector's edition. The KH500 rolled off the line and into history. But here's the thing. You don't bury an engine like that without people noticing. Even after the production ended, the legend kept growing. The H1 and KH500 engines became cult classics. Racers, drag enthusiasts, and vintage collectors kept them alive in garages and back roads. Some tuned them for even more power. Some restored them to showroom condition. Others just fired them up now and then to relive the chaos. Because this engine wasn't like other engines. It didn't whisper. It didn't purr. It snarled. You'd twist the throttle, and suddenly the power hit like lightning. The front wheel lifted, the rear tires slipped, the pipes howled. And for a few seconds, you weren't riding a bike. You were trying to hang on to a rocket. And that's why it never really died. Because engines like this don't vanish quietly. They echo through time, through stories, through the hands of every mechanic who rebuilt one, through the eyes of every kid who watched one blast by and said, "What was that?" What it was a rebellion. Kawasaki's 500cc triple was a middle finger to the polished, polite motorcycles of its time. It was loud, unstable, dangerous, and completely unforgettable. It gave riders a taste of something raw, something real, and for a while, it ruled the streets. You didn't buy this bike for comfort. You didn't buy it for practicality. You bought it because it made your heart race, because it scared you, because it didn't care what anyone thought. And maybe that's the real shocking truth behind the H1 Mach III secret KH500 engine. It wasn't designed to be nice. It wasn't designed to be safe. It was designed to win drag races, to beat four strokes at their own game, to throw you down a straight line faster than anything else on two wheels. It was a time bomb, wrapped in chrome, fueled by oil, gas, and chaos. And even now, decades later, its heartbeat still echoes in every motorcycle that dares to go too fast, too soon.